Yes, I'm back in front of the computer, and you know what we are doing today? Another minimalist tier list. And thanks for the support on the previous minimalist video. You guys seem to enjoy this kind of topic a lot, and that's the reason why this video exists today. And if you haven't checked out the first one, you should check it out before this. But for the benefit of those who would rather stay, let me have a quick explanation. I've listed 26 minimalist habits, challenges, and behaviors. I also have 4 tiers. Tier S is the best, which I highly recommend. Tier A is simple and easy to adopt. Tier B is not suitable for everyone, but you can still try it out for the experience. Tier C is not really beneficial, so you might want to skip it to save some time. So I hope you understand. It's just basically ranking the habits from the best to the worst. And without further ado, let us get started. Make or rent a thing instead of buying. We are not talking about homes here, but things in general. I think it's a good concept because it adds another alternative for buying, and we don't have to own everything just because we need it once. If you don't know if you want to commit to a hobby, then rent it first. It saves us a ton of money and the shame of not being able to stick to one hobby. And that's the reason why this is a tier A for me. Be mindful what you bring home. It's not just for what you purchase, but also for the complimentary items and the gifts you receive. I mean, I'm a frugal person, and sometimes when things are free, I tend to forget that I'm a minimalist. But I need to remind myself that doesn't mean everything that is free is good. And I think it's something everyone can reflect on it, so I'll put it in tier A. Going paperless. This is pretty obvious. Removing paper clutter from incoming ones and existing ones that you kept. If only I can put this in between A and B. I mean, it significantly reduced a ton of paper clutter in my house and keep things way organized than ever. And I love it. But not everyone is as messy as I am. Some people do well with physical notes, while others keep their paper documents extremely organized. So this going paperless behavior might not be something they want to do. So I have to put it in tier B. Speaking of going paperless, bullet journals seem to be popular amongst the minimalists, and some people call it Pujo. And the person who named this is really a minimalist. I guess it's an excellent way to minimize and organize our life. Our to-do list, important notes, events happening that day, even tracking your habits. Frankly speaking, to be fair with this ranking system, I'm trying it out currently, and this is only the second day. So far so good, but I'm not someone who enjoys writing things down. I hope I like it, but for now, I'll have to say it's not for everyone, so tier B. I love meal prep. It actually helps us to reduce all the decision fatigue from thinking what we're going to eat for lunch or dinner, since the food is already prepped. But of course, you still have to make the decision before you prepare it. And it's also not for everyone's liking, because you have to make your own food. You need to spend more time preparing, for example, 7 portions for the whole week. That can be really exhausting, so it's not for everyone, so I'll put it in tier B. Tackle your debt. I can't emphasize on how important this is, and I'm not sure if this is a byproduct of being a minimalist or it's just somehow a lot of minimalists emphasized on this. Regardless, putting all my focus on clearing my debt is one of the best things. I have to disagree that all debts are harmful. There are definitely some that can make us more money if you do it the right way. But consumer debts are definitely a no-no for me. That's the reason why this behavior is a tier S. Rejecting credit cards. Some minimalists prefer to use cash only for their purchase and reject the concept of credits, just so they can curb their impulsive purchase. And personally, I don't think it works well. No doubt, spending things I can't afford is definitely a no-no for me, except if it's a house or if I really need a vehicle. So having a credit card doesn't mean that I will spend on things I couldn't afford. And likewise, not having a credit card doesn't mean that you can curb your impulsive purchase. Not to mention, you'll miss out on all the perks, for example, cashbacks, benefits, or building up your credit score. So I would say this solution is not really solving the issue and creating another issue for you. So I'll have to put this in tier C. Saving money. I believe that this is a byproduct of being a minimalist, from cutting down on redundant purchases. Of course, this is not the only step we need to do to achieve financial freedom, but I guess no one can deny the importance of this, so I'll put it in tier S. No furniture. When I was pretty crazy over minimalism, I thought it would be a great idea for me to remove all the furniture from my room, but luckily I didn't. But if you think of it this way, this can be the most minimalistic way of living, stripping everything down to its bare minimum. But it's definitely not practical or comfortable for any human, so I have to put it in tier C. Backpacking and cabin life can be a good way for many to distract themselves from our busy work. It could be something we can do with our loved ones to pull ourselves back from our busy schedule and to-do list. In some sense, living with the bare minimum, but I'll say a whole life of this might be too extreme for some, so it's definitely very subjective. Not everyone will appreciate the wilderness, so I have to put it in tier B. Travel light is one of the best things I love about minimalism. Even though I don't get to travel much lately, but I have to say, weight is one of our biggest enemies when it comes to travel. It's the thing that holds us back from doing more. I used to carry tons of just-in-case items during a trip and ended up not using them. And they just add on redundant weights on my travel, which I don't think is needed. So I'll put it in tier A because everyone can do it, or everyone should do it. Next will be the sponsor for this video, Skillshare. I have to say, Skillshare is definitely a tier S. If you still don't know much about Skillshare, which you should, and that's the reason why I'm here, they are an online learning community for curious people like you. They provide a wide variety of classes ranging from my favorite, productivity, photography, illustration, and many more. So let me tell you, I'm actually in a creative rut right now, and the way I counter it is by learning more skills, for example animating classes, so I can apply it in my video. If you are interested in constantly upgrading your skills, then Skillshare is offering 1,000 of you their free trial for their premium membership, and that gives you access to all of their classes. Even after the trial, Skillshare is really affordable with an annual subscription fee for less than $10 every month, so I'm sure you can make the full use out of it. Obviously, Skillshare is not in the list, but I would still like to thank them for supporting what I do on this channel, so I can continue to make more videos like this for you guys. Repairing things. An extraordinary skill to have. Being able to fix things when they are faulty, instead of rushing to buy stuff, can save us a lot of money. But I'll put it in tier B because to some, fixing things might not be the most time efficient thing to do. Next is meditation. I was contemplating if I should put this in the list because I feel that everyone can meditate. You don't need to be a minimalist to do that. But then I remember why I even meditate. It's to remove my mental clutter and give me more clarity. So in some sense, I'm kinda like doing a decluttering challenge for my brain every day, and I don't have to list down the benefits of meditation. You know where it goes. Definitely tier S. Removing visual clutter is not only for highly sensitive people, because mess and chaos is definitely a distraction for many. In terms of work productivity, I prefer a clutter-free environment for me to focus. Try it yourself. A clean environment means a clean mind, so a tier A. Tier A for me because it's easy and beneficial. MultiPurpose tool. Every minimalist's favorite item because it removes the need for us to own multiple individual items. I think I'll put it in tier B because some multi-purpose tools are not for everyone and some can be a great distraction. For example, having a smart TV on a fridge. How redundant. Next is digitizing. It's a good habit to always digitize your things, whether is it you are going paperless or you are decluttering some sentimental items. Because if you need those paper documents in the future, you still can print it out. If you want to recall back certain memories, you still can look at those photos. Keep them neatly in a digital folder, you won't regret it. So I'll put this in tier S. People over things. No hesitation here, this will always be in my tier S. At no point I'll value things over people I care about, and this should be reflected the amount of time I spend with them as well. Focus on the why. I think this is hugely needed for minimalism because a lot of us start our minimalist lifestyle, absorbing whatever information from others. So in order for us to prevent ourselves from going through the motion or making mistakes, we need to understand the purpose why we are doing something. So this is definitely a tier S, not just for minimalism but all areas in our life, we need to understand why. Packing party. This is a decluttering method where you pack all your possessions into boxes as if you are moving out. Then when you need something, you just take whatever you need out of the box and you set your own duration for this challenge, whether is it a month or 3 months, half a year, depends on you. And by the end of the challenge, those stuff that are still in the boxes is clearly stuff that you don't use frequently, means you can declutter it. I have to say, it's kinda extreme for my liking, so I'll put it in tier B, but it's an excellent way for us to identify what are the things that we rarely touch. Everything has a home. Have a designated location to keep every single item you own. I love this concept. It's the best way to keep our home organized. Minimalism or not, it helps a lot for someone who always misplaces his stuff. But you just have to make the effort to keep things in place. So it's pretty easy, and I'll put it in tier A. Don't attach to stuff emotionally. I think it's alright to attach emotion to certain stuff, but we don't have to treat everything as sentimental items. As a sentimental person myself, I used to attach meaning to every single thing I own and ended up keeping them for memory's sake. And that's the reason why I ended up having a room full of clutter. So I think it's a good reminder for us to not to attach our emotion to stuff, treat them as a tool, and that's the reason why I'll put it in tier S. Do nothing. It's definitely not for everyone. I think it's a good reminder for people who are too busy to slow down and their monkey mind keep working even when they are supposed to relax. That's when you need to be okay with not doing anything. You need time to relax to go further. But if you are already slowed down like me, then this is not for you. So tier C. Having plans. I got this from one of your suggestions. I don't know who put it in, definitely not me. But on a serious note, no. There's definitely no connection between minimalism and having plans. It's just coincidentally, many minimalists appreciate things that cultivate slow living, so it's not really a minimalist habit, so I'll put it in tier C, even though I really want it to be in S. Don't replace something that is still working. I kinda live by this mantra, especially the things I don't really care about. For example, my phone, unless it's affecting my productivity. It helps to curb the must-have effect when we are tempted to upgrade, and it's definitely an excellent mantra to live by, and it deserves to be a tier A. And if you ask me why is it not tier S, I'll say there's a loophole in this. Humans can be really sneaky. We tend to break our stuff just so we can upgrade our stuff. I mean, I done that before when I was a kid, so I'm not proud about it. If I lose it, will I purchase it again? This is a question you ask yourself before you declutter something, and I used to like this method, but I realized it's only useful when it comes to cheap, duplicates, and just-in-case items. It doesn't work well with all of our possessions. For example, my plants, my watch, or the lamp behind me. If I lose them, I'll probably not buy them again, but it doesn't mean that I want to declutter them. I'll put this in tier C because it's not exactly helpful and it can be misleading. Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule. I have a video about this last week, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. It's an observation where you realize 80% of your possessions, clothes, tools, are used 20% of the time. I think this is an excellent way for us to identify what's essential in our daily life, so we can display what is frequently used, hide what we rarely use, and declutter what we don't need. And I really love this method of identifying how often we use certain stuff, and it's easy to do, so I'll put it in tier A. So that's the last, and this is how my minimalist tier list looks like. So I would still like to say whatever I ranked is based on my own preference. What's in my tier S can be in your tier C, it doesn't really matter. But I still hope that this video can help you out and save you some time from trying out some habits that might not be useful for you. So if you enjoyed it, a click on the like button or share it with your friends can help a lot with the growth of this channel. So I really appreciate it if you can do that. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys again next week.